I would like to say is, I don't condone harassment in any way. I was not at that rolling rally.
Why are you harassing me?
I'm not harassing anybody. You're harassing me.
I
went in.
Me.
I'm not harassing.
Phone in my face.
I don't have the phone in your face.
Oh, it must be with you.
Yeah, he is with me.
This is rude. There he is. Look at him. Keep up. Keep yelling out women. Keep yelling out women. How tough are you? How tough? What's up? What's up? You want to talk? I want to talk. Why do you yell at women? Why are you messing with them? I'm not taking pictures. I'm taking a video. So yell at me. Yell at me.
Go ahead, big man. You're a big man. What are you going to call the Canton police, are you? Are you calling the cops? There you go. Call Canton police because they're as crooked as you are.
But as far as the Free Karen Reed movement and supporters go, everybody that I've encountered has been nothing but nice and very genuine in this case.
Do you guys know how it goes? Did you guys enjoy the food? Yeah, everyone have the stuff big? Oh no, that's Julie Nagel.
Oh my God.
I've always wondered, how come?
As far as the harassment that these people are receiving, I think it is an outcry of the public that wasn't happy with this Google search.
But the interesting thing was why the timestamp said 2:27:40, and I did some testing on this and discovered the reason why 2:27:40 was actually listed in the database, even though that's not the time, in my opinion, that the search was conducted.
And what is your opinion as to when the search was conducted?
There's plenty of other evidence on that extraction that shows what activity was occurring at 2:27:40 seconds. And there's plenty of evidence later on in the day that shows that particular search was conducted at 6:23, I believe 51 seconds, and then a similar search at 6:24 and 18 seconds, I believe.
And
question, has there been any dispute brought to you by anybody about your conclusions about when the search actually happened?
No. If anything, I've heard people who have confirmed the research that I did.
Hi, guys.
Hey, guys.
Hi.
Hey. Hi, everybody.
Hi. Hi, everyone.
So I'm introducing everybody tonight because I was the last one to arrive at the pre-meeting. So that means I got stuck in the middle.
You lost.
No. I lost.
And you have best background.
Yeah,
that is true.
I'll get to that in just a second. But yeah, so it's me, Jams. I'm here with Lydia, Tuesday, Julie, and Mama Llama. So guys, do you want to kind of talk about what's been going on the past hour or so on Twitter? Anybody?
I mean, has something been going on?
Maybe. Maybe.
Did we lose Betero? Is he missing?
He is. There is an APB out for anyone who knows where he is.
Do y'all believe that? Do you think that he bailed?
Yeah, that's the rumor. The rumor is that he is off Aiden's case. It's been made public by Aiden's ex-girlfriend, and Aiden has not replied. I would imagine if it was not true, Aiden certainly would have made a post, but
well,
I'm
I'm
surprised he didn't leave before now, so I wouldn't doubt it. I would have expected him to leave after everything that's been going on.
I definitely believe he told Meredith that, assuming that he was telling her the truth. I believe what she's saying, that
right,
he
for
did
sure.
tell her.
Right.
Yeah. And she knows better than anybody else when he's lying, because she's the recipient of the vast majority of his life. Sure. So
Right.
So interesting too. I wonder what his motivation for calling her last night was. What was he trying to accomplish?
Mm-hmm. I think he's still trying to get her to stop talking about him, because did you watch his most recent live was, where he was like, no guys, really, what I really want to do is stop talking about Meredith while he's talking about Meredith.
Yeah. I think it was his, he did that with Lindsay, right? But he filmed himself walking through the woods. I think it was his walk through the woods moment, but he just wasn't, filming himself. But that was his moment with Meredith.
I think he just wanted her to feel bad for him. That's what he did.
Yep.
Yeah.
Agree.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's
But
very
she's not going to
manipulative
stop.
like that.
She said she's not going to stop.
No. Yeah.
No, I mean, he started it, right?
Yeah.
No, I mean, he leaked those videos and those texts. I don't believe that he wasn't involved with that person posting them. And then it was more than 20 hours, 5 days straight.
Yeah.
About her. And she's supposed to just be like, oh, sure. Once you poke the bear and you awaken the beast, you don't get to put that back.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't think
that
can't be done. That damage can't be undone, what he did.
No.
I mean, I have no love for Meredith, but I mean, he did a lot of damage to her reputation, and people called her work, DCF, that can never be undone.
Right.
Yeah,
right.
Terrible.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yep. And when people Google her, that's what they'll see. Like
sad.
Yeah.
That's not cool.
No.
I'm sorry does not fix that.
No.
Yeah.
No. And like she said too, even if publicly he's saying, please stop, like you guys leave her alone, like whatever, behind the scenes, we all know that that's not what's taking place. She's dead on accurate by saying that he's still pushing people to attack her behind the scenes. He's just trying to keep his hands clean of it.
100%.
Sure.
100%.
It's the same song and dance every single time. I don't know if you guys have watched Kate Masshole Mafia's new video of Aiden. If you guys haven't, yes. I mean, I even learned some stuff, and I mean, he has a history.
Yeah.
This is just, it's the same thing over and over and over.
It's wash, rinse, repeat, wash, rinse, repeat, wash, rinse, repeat.
But without learning, like there's no amount of tuition that he pays that he learns from. It's just wild.
It is.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Well, people enable him. So when you enable, it's like the saying of the flying monkeys.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Well,
and then after whatever that was Friday night that the other ex-girlfriend did, she's back to calling him a felon today. So it looks like things aren't going well for him with the exes, because
I know. I don't think he's having a good day.
Yeah, he's not winning.
No, he's not.
But I
winning.
wonder, like, is he going to replace Betero? Is Bradel just left holding this bag of leaked text messages? I mean,
I'm sure
Bradle's-
there's
I mean-
another defense attorney that's going to hop in and want the notoriety. You know,
Well,
what happened to that Linda lady? Wasn't that
Yeah,
Linda
maybe it'll be
attorney?
Linda.
That's New Jersey case.
New Jersey.
Oh, gotcha.
Yes,
Gotcha.
you know how they say people have hoes and what's the
Different
saying
area
again?
code?
Different zip code, area codes, whatever. He's got different attorneys.
And
in
he's
every
got
area
99 problems.
code.
Yes.
they're
And an attorney to call for everyone. Yeah, I mean,
It's crazy. It's crazy. But Bradle is on those text messages. Not that he really has a whole heck of a lot to lose, what with his pending complaint.
Right.
But he is in those text messages. It creates as much of a problem for him as it did for Betero. So I don't know. Might be a couple interesting days to watch.
For sure.
yeah.
I do
don't
want to
know why
update
anyone-
everybody. What?
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
Oh no, I just
I
wanted
just-
to give a brief score.
Oh my God,
Yay! For anybody playing at home, I just wanted to make sure they could write that down.
I want to just thank Liza for holding the poster board for us
Thank you,
tonight.
Liza. You
It's
fit into our
given
logo.
us- yeah, it's been great. Like we've done so many things with that poster board that were way more how do I say it? Whatever. They were way more interesting than what she actually did with it.
Yeah, the meat
Yeah,
block.
they were high budget.
Yes.
Right.
As-
Right.
Yeah.
Oh,
as
that's what I
opposed
forgot to
their-
say.
Yes.
Like I forgot to welcome you guys to our boring show, but also let you know like we've upped the budget a little bit. Like we skipped our Starbucks this week and we upped the budget and we got boxes and a background and everything.
Yep. We're no longer low budget.
Yeah.
No longer
Well,
low
you
budget.
know what? In all fairness, we have yet to be able to afford a really shitty green curtain, but
True.
you know, we'll get there.
True.
I asked for
True.
one for Christmas. So we'll see if Santa brings it.
That's a great idea. That's a good idea. Joel.
Leah has a question. Can you please give us a 30-second rundown on the feud with Betero?
I feel like Julie can do that.
Who's feud?
So
Well, just
it
what
appears that Betero is upset that private communications with the legal team were leaked, and they're now on Twitter. And so one of the things that came out is our friend Jean from Dorchester. So she is our affiant with the crazy affidavit that, you know, people are getting couches and all this other nonsense. That is that lady. And if you're not aware of this, Bradle procured for her legal representation to clear her warrants. She had outstanding warrants. She was also put up in a hotel, and someone adjacent to the legal team paid for that hotel. And Bradle is in those texts thanking this person. So it looks a little shady. I've heard exactly what's in the text. I think if more of them get leaked, I think it's going to be absolutely hysterical to read the way Bradle was handling himself as if he was some kind of secret spy agent. They had this big operation going on. So my understanding is Betero was very upset about that. He was also very upset about the Ghetto Mellow account. If you didn't know about the Ghetto Mellow account, it was one of Aiden's burners. Jesus, I can't get anything out. Aiden's burners. It was a very racist account. It was using the N-word, and it was bad. But what was even worse is he was trolling Betero on that account. So Betero
Why
was
was
not
he
happy
doing
about
that? I
that.
don't.
Idiot.
On Twitter.
He's-
He's trolling his own lawyer on Twitter.
Yeah, so he was trolling Betero with that. I mean, they just look like a bunch of clowns. I mean, really, unreal. So, you know, I think that's
Dude,
why.
I can't stop
Better.
laughing about
So
that.
bad.
Yeah, and there's also rumors that something has happened, and Aiden may be arrested again. Now that's just a rumor. Sometimes those rumors start and they die down, but this time it seems to have a little bit of a little more weight behind it. So that might be whatever it is too. He's got whatever mess he's gotten himself into. Maybe Bedero's like, you know what? Hey, I'm going to step back. I don't really know. But that is the word on the street.
That was a good
Did I miss anything?
No, that was good.
Well, you missed the breaking news that even Bedero has standards.
Oh,
so that was.
I mean, it gives me hope.
Yeah,
gives me hope.
I do find it interesting.
I thought he had standards. I don't think the other one cares whatsoever, but I had a feeling that he was going to bail if it kept going on like this.
Yeah,
but the other one, I think he'll hang on till the very end.
Yeah,
keep
I
the
mean,
zooms from his car.
Tim. I don't know. So that's where we're at. Well, I guess we'll find out more tomorrow if
Can we do this, by the way?
The Brady
Can we, I'm gonna look up. Julie, you look down.
Okay.
Which way do I look?
I guess you look down.
Mish, this is an upgrade. This is an upgrade.
Yeah. We should start the show like that, though. Like one of us, you know.
We should.
Yeah, that's funny.
Oh, goodness.
So what do we got on the roster, guys?
We have this great video that we are going to play for you guys. And so you guys are probably aware from the beginning of this case, the way the defense was operating, the way Karen was operating, the way everyone around Karen was operating was to take the focus off Karen and anything Karen was doing and to put that focus onto the witnesses. So we haven't really explored what happened in the early morning hours with Karen and what her family was doing. So this video is going through what the Reeds were doing from about 1 o'clock in the morning on. It's part one. The second part of this, we're going to show their participation and almost their, directing of the fundraising, of the social media, their connection to the content creators, the way they would connect with those content creators to make sure they were loyal to Karen. But this one is the morning that John was found. And what we're going to do is we're going to play it. We're probably going to stop it and talk about some things in it. But we will also put it up so that you can see it without our commentary after the show. Before we play it, I'd like to say that we are dedicating this video to the memory of John O'Keefe, to his mother, Peggy, his father, John, his brother, Paul, and Paul's wife, Erin, his niece, Kaylee, and his nephew, Patrick, along with all the family and friends who loved him, as well as the innocent witnesses whose lives have been destroyed by Karen's lies. It's time for the truth.
Doesn't get lost.
Oops.
In the loss. She finds a way out of it.
For over 3.5 years, Karen has created a social media campaign spread by content creators spewing disinformation to focus the public's attention on the actions of innocent witnesses the morning John O'Keefe died. Her intent was to create the appearance of a conspiracy among witnesses and police to frame her for murder. And through the chaos and confusion she created, no one was looking at her actions and those of her family until now. So what were the Reeds really up to that morning? Karen's family makes their first appearance in the timeline at exactly 1:14 a.m. In the midst of her alcohol-fueled rage texts and voice messages to John, Karen called her elderly mother, who was 30 miles away in Dighton. Not surprisingly, the call went unanswered. Her mother was also the first person she called 3 hours later before she went to look for John. At 4:38 a.m., Karen placed another unanswered call to her mom and then again another unanswered call at 4:42 a.m. Karen claims she called her mother, brother, and best friend after John was found, but none of those calls show up in the court exhibit. She claimed no one answered, so she texted them that John was dead. At 6:30, Karen places a call to her father, which goes unanswered, and then at 6:32, she calls him again and speaks to him for 3 minutes, 51 seconds.
At the scene, I called my mom, my dad, my brother, and my best friend, and no one was answering, so I texted, John is dead. And my dad called me back, and I said, Dad, I don't want to live. I just want to die right now.
Controller, Canton 682. 682. Are you aware of the party on the scene for the caller named Karen? I have a father on the line. She's been making suicidal comments.
According to Mr. Reed, Karen was in an emotional state and he sensed she could hurt herself. It is worth noting that evidence presented at trial shows Karen was saying many things at the scene, including that she hit him and also asking how long John would be able to survive in the cold.
She was in an emotional state, and shock is the only way I would describe it. And I just sensed, that she was at risk of hurting herself.
Working quickly, Mr. Reed called Canton Police Department to have Karen put in what he called protective custody.
And what, if anything, happened next on scene with regard to Mr.
It was moments later, I got a radio transmission from our officer that worked in dispatch that Mr. Reed, her father, was on the phone with Miss Reed, and she was making suicidal threats to take her own life.
And based on that information that you received, what, if anything, did you do in regard to that?
Well, once our officer Deva, who didn't even know that we had Miss Reed at the scene, she radioed to us to confirm that did we have a Karen party on scene. I said we did. She explained that her father was frantic on the phone, and Miss Reed was stating that she wanted to end her life, and he, in quotes, said he wanted her to be in protective custody. So at that time, I knew that we'd be able to get a hold of her because I had all their information. I believe I just called Miss Roberts' phone, told her to bring her back to the scene.
Karen then called her father 4 more times, at 6:40, which goes unanswered. Again at 6:44:17 for 11 seconds, and then again at 6:44:55 for 4 minutes, 5 seconds. Another call is made to her father at 6:49:22 that lasts for 1 minute, 35 seconds. Less than a minute later, Erin O'Keefe, who has just learned something happened to John, calls Karen.
It was snowing when he was leaving. Heavy.
Now, at some point, you're at home and your children are at home with you, is that correct?
Correct.
And at some point, who, if anyone, do you reach out to sort of find out what's going on?
When Paul was brushing his teeth, I said to him, "Where's Karen? Where is she? Is she okay?" And I called her, and I could hear the phone pick up, and she didn't say hello. I just said, "Karen, what the hell is going on?" And she just yelled back on the phone, "John's dead." And Kerry Roberts grabbed the phone from her and said, "No, he's not. He's at the hospital. They're working on him." And I didn't know what was going on.
Was there any further conversation on that initial phone call that you made to?
They were in Kerry's car waiting for an ambulance to pick up Karen.
At around 7:15, during the ride to the hospital with John Jr. and Kerry Roberts, John's mom, Peggy, spoke to Karen.
That morning, did you ever have a chance while you were in the car to speak to the defendant?
Yes.
Please tell the jury about that conversation.
I asked her what happened, and she said, we went to a party. I left him there. I said, "You just left him there?" She said, "Yes, I just left him there."
Did she say whether she left him inside or outside?
No, she just said, "I left him there."
Did she tell you whether or not she left him in the driveway or the street?
She just said, "No, I just left him there."
As Karen was being admitted to the hospital for a psychiatric evaluation and the O'Keefes were making their way to the hospital, William Reed called Dighton police requesting a ride, presumably because he did not want to drive in treacherous conditions. Mr. Reed makes no mention of his daughter's suicidal state, and instead tells dispatch he needs the ride because his daughter's boyfriend had died.
The outgoing shift, the midnight to 8 shift, had advised me that a resident had called the police station on a 911 call requesting a ride to Brockton Hospital to meet his daughter due to her daughter's boyfriend passing away, and he needed a ride due to the snowstorm.
Peggy, John, and Paul arrive at the hospital. Karen is being treated a few rooms away.
Mm-hmm. Can you describe a little bit where in the hospital you had this interaction with her?
When they took us down to the emergency room, the doors open, and there was a corridor to go down to the other rooms, and she was on the left-hand side, and that's when she saw me come in, and that's when she started yelling, "Is he dead, Peg? Is he dead, Peg?"
So when she was yelling, could you describe her mood or demeanor? Was she animated?
She's loud, and I don't know, she was just loud and, as she was saying it.
And when she was asking you, "Is he dead? Is he dead?" did you again ask her a question?
I just asked the nurse, "What is she doing here?"
Okay. And did you speak to Miss Reed herself?
No. No.
So we were in that waiting room. Doctor and nurse came in and told us that all their efforts to save my brother were unsuccessful and that he had passed away. And then asked if we wanted to go see him, in which we said yes. So we left that room and walked down the hallway to his hospital room.
And that doctor you spoke to, do you recall what the doctor's name was?
Dr. Rice.
And when you say that we went down to the room where your brother was that everyone in the group?
It was myself and my parents, yes.
And Miss Roberts, did she go as well, or did she?
No, she stayed out in the waiting area.
And as you were making your way down to the room where they had your brother, what if anything occurred along the way?
So I noticed Karen Reed was there. She was being restrained by hospital employees, and she was, screaming out to us, asking if he was alive.
Is that something that she screamed out once, more than once, or something else?
Several times.
Now, at some point you went into the room where your brother was, correct?
Correct.
And can you describe to the jury sort of what you saw as far as your brother was concerned?
He was pretty banged up. He had his eyes had swelled up. He had a breathing tube in, or the mask anyway. Blood come down his nose, blood come down his mouth. But what really stood out to me was, the eyes. It was almost as if like there were ping pong balls under his eyelids. They were that swollen.
Now, in addition to what you observed as far as his eyes, what, if any, other sort of injuries did you observe on any other part of your brother's body?
I noticed some markings on his arm. Didn't look at his lower torso area at all because he was, covered by a sheet. So most of the injuries that, we observed was to the head area.
So then they brought us down to the room where my son was. He's bruised up, his eyes were closed. Just not a good scene.
Okay.
After seeing John as the O'Keefes are leaving, they see Karen once more.
Again, we saw Karen Reed being restrained by hospital employees, saying screaming the same things. Is he alive? Is he alive? Is he alive?
At any point, either before or after, respond to any of that screaming that you heard from the defendant?
I actually blew her a kiss.
William Reed, apparently unconcerned about the O'Keefe's loss as he passed them, goes straight into his daughter's room.
I'm admitted to the hospital, and I'm in the ER, an extension of the ER, but John's body is just about 2 doors away from me. A couple hours later, my father comes to get me out of the hospital.
I was met by one of the attendants, one of the medical attendants, and said my daughter was, continuing to ask, is John O'Keefe, is he okay? Is he dead? What's the status? And the medical attendant said, we haven't told her. Would you like us to tell her? Would you like to tell her, or would you like us all to go in and tell her? I said, no, I'm your father, I'll do it. She was on the edge of the bed, and when I told her, I held her, and she slithered off the bed into my arms to the floor.
And he just said, he's gone.
But according...
So Jenny, let it play a little, Lydia, let it play a little bit longer. Like another 20 seconds.
According to William Reed, that's not all that Karen told him in the hospital.
She felt she struck something. She said, Dad, I think I struck something. I said, what do you mean? All right, this was in the hospital. All right, he says, I remember, all right, backing up and hitting something.
The O'Keefes drove back to John's house.
Okay, that part. So that last part, that was an interview in August of 2023. And we know the story has stayed the same. Bill Reed has told the same story, that he tells her that she kind of slithers, which Tuesday pointed out that's an interesting word because that's what a snake does. She slithers off the bed. And it must be at that point when she tells him that she remembers backing up and hitting something. But if you notice in future interviews, Bill Reed completely removes that. He sanitizes what he says. That just disappears. And when they were in the hospital, Paul blew her a kiss, which certainly isn't hostile. And I thought it was interesting as well, the way Mr. Reed just walked past the O'Keefes. Now, he had already been told by his daughter that John was dead. And he doesn't say, I'm so sorry. He doesn't ask about John's condition. He just walks past them.
So I think it's really, really interesting how if Karen found out that John died, I mean, it's official. She is told in the hospital by her father with the nurses there, John has passed. And then she tells her dad she remembers striking something or that she had struck something. I think the order of that is really telling. Not to mention in several interviews, her story about John's traverse has changed, right? In one story, she remembers feeling the car hit John. Another story, she didn't even know she hit the car until she saw the ring footage. Or that's what, is that correct? If I remember, there was in the ID video, was she noticed that she hit his car. I think it was ID, yeah. She's like, I noticed.
She didn't know she hit it until she saw a video that her cousin found it. So
I don't know who this Mook militia person is, but if you're going to attack the family and say things like that, you're not welcome here.
They're gone.
Thank you.
Yeah, just remove them. Here's the thing. We welcome questions. I mean, we really want healthy discourse. We want questions. We want to talk about facts. I mean, we really do want to talk about facts because a lot of the people out there are not willing to really dive in and pull apart the facts and face them and face all the questions and just turn every stone over. And we are willing to do that. We want questions. We want all this. But You are not going to come in here and degrade a victim's family or witnesses. You're just not going to do it. I don't care. You know what? Even degrading anyone really in this case, we're not going to do that. Okay. So, this is a murder case. If you're also coming here and expecting us to be entertaining, you might want to just check out. So that's not our goal. So just to make that clear, if you want to stay in the chat, by all means, just be respectful.
And they have to be good faith questions. Okay.
Yeah,
so
good faith
you have
questions.
to be asking the questions in good faith. Kyle,
Lydia, do you not think a good faith question from Mookie is to address the rumors about me and Paul O'Keefe? I mean, that's a great.
There are rumors about you guys.
I've never met Paul. I think I met Paul O'Keefe once. So, I mean,
The
this
rumor
is
that
what
Mookie just made up.
This is what these people, all of them do. When they, see something they don't want to see, right? So Julie's showing this video, which is so bad for Karen Reed and her family. There's no doubt. No, you can't get around it. It's horrible, and it gets even worse. And those are the things they say. That's all they have.
Well, not to mention, you just listened to Paul tell us what it was like to see his brother there, and that's the question you come up with.
About his brother.
I mean, you've got some soul searching to do, but if that's
you're not a normal person, Mookie.
Yeah, that is bad faith. Yeah, and you can go.
I just want to answer Aaron real quickly, one of our mods. Yes, if we could get question marks for questions,
that'd be great.
I'm gonna
Kyle,
try.
I saw your question, so we'll come back to that.
Okay. Are you starring them? I'm trying to star them.
No, I'm starring it up here in my noggin.
Okay.
But I remember the question. I actually thought about this today, so I'll remember it.
So I wanted to say too is in regard to Karen backing up that whole story of striking him and remembering, if she remembers bumping into John's car, why wouldn't she say, I remember bumping into John's car? This was in a driveway where there are no other objects. So remember striking something also opens up this, it's alluding that she doesn't remember what she hit. She just has this memory in her drunken night that she did hit something, right? And we did learn in trial with all the digital testing of and measurements of her car and John's Traverse that the damage to her tail light could not have happened on his car.
Right. It was
from hitting his car or bumping
She
into
also
it.
never told the officers that went to Dighton to meet with her and saw her broken taillight. She never told them that she hit John's car. She didn't have an explanation for that for anybody.
Mm-hmm.
And that would have been the perfect opportunity to say, because she knew they were taking it.
Right.
She never brought it up.
In that interview where he is saying, like dramatically reenacting her saying, I think I struck something. All you have to do is watch Janet's face when he's saying that, because
she gets very nervous. She gets very nervous.
She was slightly moving before. She doesn't move a lot, but she was slightly moving before. And when he goes off script and admits that she said she struck something, she just freezes like a deer. And you can watch that clip. You only have to watch that clip once. The very first time I saw that clip, I was like, she knows he just screwed up and she's wondering what to do about it.
Right.
So just replay that when we post it on our channel, because don't look at him. Don't look at him when he's talking. Just look at the deer in the headlights and you will see what happened.
And we'll say that's speculation, right? I think I just want to make sure we're talking about facts and then speculations. But I think that's a really astute perspective that you picked up there, because I noticed the same thing. It's like you almost see her look like there's just this very loaded look. But again, that doesn't necessarily mean anything.
It almost looked
or it
like
means
it was
a lot.
news. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's my personal opinion.
I wanted to also make note of the suicidal ideation in that moment after finding John. That always stuck out to me as odd. I don't know about you guys, but I feel like typically if you're finding a loved one who is not declared dead, and there's a risk, or there's a chance of hope, there's hope there, I should say. There is a chance they are going to live. You are going to be thinking about them. You are going to be thinking about, we need to get this loved one, it's not even going to go inward. It reminds me of O.J. Simpson a little bit. Remember when O.J. was on the run and he was suicidal in his Bronco, and he was on the phone and they were trying to get him to pull over?
Right.
Again, suicide ideation, it's not, black and white, but that is something that always just stood out as a very odd response to me.
Well, I think for Karen, it was a foregone conclusion that he was dead, right?
Mm-hmm.
Everybody else was saying there could be hope. And I know if it were me and someone I loved, and somebody like a paramedic is saying, no, we're going to do our best, I would hold on to that.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't be I would be like, maybe there's a chance. Karen, before she even left the house, she was like, he's dead,
Right.
I think
She was telling everybody that would listen that he was dead.
Right.
I can't believe she did that to Aaron. I mean, how traumatic for Aaron,
Right.
for her to call her because she's concerned about Karen and she's concerned about everybody else. And the first thing Karen said to her is, John's dead. I mean, that was her brother-in-law. I don't even know what to say about
contrast. You can see the contrast between her and, for example, Carrie, who corrected her, right? Carrie is like, no, he's not dead. They're working on him, whatever. I mean, Karen was the only one that was shouting from the rooftops that John was dead starting at 4:30 in the morning.
Right, because she's the only one starting at 1. He was out there from.
Everyone else was confused. They were like, "What the hell is going on?"
Right.
Except
what
for
is she talking
Karen,
about?
who was like, "John's dead."
But she started that an hour after she left, because her first call to her dad.
Yep. Yep. I mean, she says, I don't know if we got to that part yet, but she says she was telling, she texted everyone in her family that John was dead.
Right.
I mean, it's a very odd reaction for someone who is innocent and has, it just.
Well, but not just that. It invalidates her other premise, which is he's a pervert. He's with another girl. He's all the things that she said in the text messages prior to that text to her dad. So in an hour, that's a different story.
Right.
So, and so Kyle is saying, in fairness, and you're right, Kyle, in fairness, none of us have been in that situation. It's hard to say how we would react.
Yep.
True. Good point. However, Karen was saying it before he was even found, right? So just the fact that he didn't come home, she's telling people he's dead. And you really got to think about that, Kyle. Why would that be her first? Why would she go to that first? You know what I mean? Like, that doesn't make sense. If my husband doesn't come home, I'm not going to be like, well, must be dead, and call people and tell them that.
Especially and this drives me crazy, is like, when it's convenient, people forget that there's a blizzard, right? There's a storm coming in. And it's like, let's say Karen drops him off. And in her story is that, stories, because the story of why she left and how that occurred has changed in different interviews. we'll go with her, the concept that she left him there. What was she expecting him to do to get home, knowing that one of the biggest blizzards that year was literally coming in? It's the middle of the night. So there was no game plan here. So to wake up and think, oh my God, he's not home, he must be dead, is beyond bizarre. And it just doesn't make sense. It logically does not make sense if she is innocent.
It's also not just dead, right? It's that a really big car hit him.
Oh yeah,
Not her
snow
car,
plow.
not her car, but a really big car hit him, and that's why he's dead.
And there were no other vehicles on the road at that hour.
Right.
Other
Right.
Yeah, it doesn't.
You can also contrast like her response to everybody else that she called and everybody she was trying to get a hold of, right? What was their reaction? Their reaction was, okay, he's probably sleeping on someone's couch, or, you know, he's probably whatever. Their go-to was what a normal person's go-to would be in that situation.
Right.
She was, again, the only one who jumped straight to, he's dead, and telling everybody that, you know, like you said, Julie, you wouldn't just jump to that in that situation. You would do exactly, you would be saying the things that they were all telling her to try to comfort her and calm her down, because that's truly what you would think. Like, who jumps to that right away and goes ballistic?
And I don't have experience with that, but I can tell you I have experience with the night that Noah died. And my son first texted and he said, I think Noah was shot. And then the next text was, I think Noah's dead. And then the phone started ringing and we had him on the phone. And I kept telling him, no, that's not true. It's just, someone just put that on social media. It's not true. None of it happened. I mean, that was my first reaction. My first reaction was, absolutely not. This person cannot be dead. So I do find it odd that she was telling people he's dead, because when you really love somebody, that's not a thought you want to have. You don't want to accept that.
No.
Like, it's very difficult to accept someone you love dying. And Karen was immediately telling the world, before anybody even knew he was truly missing or truly hurt, that he was dead. That is very odd. It's very
Including
weird.
Kaylee, right? I mean,
Correct.
he woke up
She did
her
not care
John's
who she
orphan,
traumatized.
double orphan niece. Yeah.
But it also shows you she didn't believe the story that she told his voicemail, which is that he was with another woman. Because unless she's saying the other woman killed him, that doesn't make any sense. It's just a huge conflict between what she was saying at 12:36 or 12:37 into his voicemail that we have, you know, we can listen to that. So how did he die with this other woman? It shows you that wasn't deeply seated in her mind, and or she didn't believe it. Those are the two possibilities.
Yep.
Yeah. Or she was panicking. I mean, she was realizing he was so beyond drunk that night. She's putting the pieces together as she woke up. I mean, the fact that she's saying he's dead is, you know, could potentially be more of this panic for herself. Oh my God, is he dead? You know, did I do this? Type, her brain trying to kind of put the pieces together here. So.
So you want to play
We're going to
play a little bit more?
Yep.
Further deteriorating weather conditions.
The drive from Brockton to your brother's house in Kent.
I mean, at one point I said to my mother, I don't know if we're going to make it back. You know, visibility was terrible. Couldn't see the roads. We made it back. It was just very, very difficult. Just probably the worst driving conditions I've driven in, as far as weather.
So, can you stop it there? So did everyone notice when you look at Mrs. O'Keefe and you look at Paul, neither one of them look at her car.
Of course
They don't.
No.
They don't make any. They completely walk past it. There's no stopping. There's no inspecting it. They are.
I don't even think
oblivious
they noticed it was there.
That's what I'm saying. They're completely oblivious to the fact that that's there.
Right.
Go back.
After being released from the hospital, Karen Reed called Paul O'Keefe, asking to come to the house under the guise of seeing the children.
At some point after you left the hospital in Brockton, what, if any, conversation or what, if any, phone calls did you receive in relation to the defendant, Ms. Reed?
Karen Reed called me, asked me if it was okay to come over and to see the kids, and I said sure.
And do you know how long that phone call went on for?
It was a quick phone call, maybe a minute. Like I said, she just asked if she could come over, and I said sure. And then she arrived at the house, shortly thereafter.
When you initially arrived at the house, along with your parents and Ms. Roberts in her vehicle, what, if any, other vehicles did you observe sort of in the driveway at that time?
I only noticed, I think, my brother's car. I mean, I don't even recall seeing any other cars. I mean, there could have been a car in the garage, but I didn't notice, really. Nothing stands out.
The O'Keefes, who had just experienced a devastating loss, have a remarkably different memory of what occurred when Karen and her family arrived. The O'Keefes do not remember interacting with Karen, her father, or her brother.
You were in the house when they arrived, is that correct?
When Karen and her father arrived, I was shoveling the walkway out front.
And in total, about how much time was the defendant at the house that morning as he came in?
I would probably say about 30 minutes.
And at that point, when the defendant arrived, was either Kaylee or Patrick or both home at that time?
Yes, Kaylee had come home first, and then Patrick had come home, so.
Do you remember getting home that day?
Yep. It was snowy, icy.
Was anybody home when you got back?
No, it was just us. And then the kids started coming home. And that's when I was trying to, take care of them. And then there was a knock at the door. And it was Karen, her father, and her brother asked if they could come in. And I was just trying to calm the kids because Patrick was just out of control, yelling. And then they came in. And then he said, do you mind if we go upstairs and get a couple of her things? Which I never should have let them go up there. But at the time, I just couldn't think straight. And I really didn't have anybody else to help me keep them down in the kitchen. So I don't know what they got up there, what they did up there.
Oh, about how long were they in the upstairs area of the house?
I would say 10 to 15 minutes.
And them as they came down the stairs?
Yeah, so I was on the phone a few times. So I didn't watch them walk upstairs, but I saw them come downstairs, turn the corner at the bottom of the stairs. She had some of her belongings that she had taken from the bedroom.
And where did she go with those belongings?
They left. Like I said, they were probably there for 30 minutes. They got in their cars and drove back to Dayton, Massachusetts.
And when you say got back in their cars, you mentioned 3 cars that had been there in the driveway or in the area of the house, correct?
Correct.
When the defendant left, how many of those cars remained?
0.
And as far as the weather conditions that you had mentioned that existed at the time that you drove from the hospital in Brockton to your brother's home in Kin, what, if any, improvement occurred with the weather during that time frame?
None.
So essentially the same, is that fair to say?
Yeah, it was still, the conditions were still poor.
But according to the tale the Reeds have told, the O'Keefes were hostile and accusatory. The Reeds claim when they arrived, William Reed inspected Karen's taillight to ensure it was operational. Ring footage, however, shows a very different story.
Showed my dad my light, it was cracked, and he said, I just want to make sure the light is operational. I'm not going to put your car back on the road if I know it's impaired anyway. So we go into the house. John's nephew was not home from the sleepover yet, but John's parents had called his brother.
She was in an emotional state, and shock is the only way I would describe it. And I just sensed, that she was at risk of hurting herself.
She was discharged. We went back to the house, gathered some belongings, and I saw the vehicle. I saw the light that was cracked. I would not have driven that vehicle back to Dayton from Canton in that type of blizzard, that type of driving conditions, if I was at risk, particularly with a tail light or, in effect, a stoplight, when I would hit the brakes, that was impaired. I wouldn't have risked my life or that of somebody else on the road.
And the video also shows when the car was being cleaned off, none of the Reeds went near the back right taillight. In fact, it appears they did everything they could to avoid even looking at it. And the recounting of what happened inside the home also sharply differs.
That morning, when
So I just wanted to say something really quick before we went back to Mrs. O'Keefe. Someone in the chat put it up, I think it was OP is in the house. Same thing that I wanted to say. Karen's whole story was that they were going back there to console the kids, right? Which they were only there for 30 minutes. 15 of it was spent upstairs doing whatever her and her father were doing upstairs. Nathan Reed, as soon as he got there, which was, right after Karen and her dad, he's cleaning her car off to get out of there. They are not staying at that house. They are leaving. They're getting that car out of Canton. So he noticed that too, whoever OP in the house is. So I just wanted to point that out to everyone. With Nathan, as you see him, and you also see him pull away from the taillight. He doesn't wipe that taillight off. He wipes everything else off except that taillight. But they were never planning on staying there. They were leaving, which if you think about that, John O'Keefe just died and his niece and nephew just came home and found out that their third parent was dead and she's getting out of there as fast as she can. It also, I don't care what anyone says, that makes no sense. Makes no sense.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. No, you stay. You stay. You stay. Everybody is suffering. Everybody is hurting, and you're just you're literally doing a drive-by. Like you're just knocking on the door just to get your stuff and leave, basically. I mean,
Not only
It
that,
brings people together. A death brings people together. It's like you are, I mean, I just recently, we lost a friend who was a firefighter. He's a fairly young guy. And it's like, even people who haven't talked to people.
We lost you.
We lost you.
So we couldn't hear that Tuesday, but I also wanted to point out if you're of the mindset that they were concerned about Karen and they were just trying to get her home, that she had been through this trauma, then why do they need the damn car? They don't need the damn car. They don't need her stuff. It's a goddamn blizzard. They would take her right back to Dighton. That is absolutely ridiculous to say that. So if they weren't there to give their condolences, which they clearly weren't, they got the hell out of there. And they had to get her out of there because they were so concerned about her because she had just gone through this traumatic experience. There was no reason to stop at One Meadows. They could have just went directly to Dighton from the hospital.
She's like 40 something years old too. What do you mean?
Exactly.
Like, there's children there. What do you mean they had to get poor Karen out of there? Stop.
Correct.
Stop.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. But they didn't need that car. They could have come and gotten it, over the next couple days. They did not need to go back and get that car. There was a reason they went back and got that car.
Mm-hmm.
So how many cars did they have? Because
They had 3.
That's right, because Nathan and his wife were in their vehicle.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, they drove 3 vehicles in
a blizzard.
That blizzard, 40-something miles, right?
It's like 30 miles.
Insanity. That's insanity. That makes 0 sense. You leave it
That
and
was
you
one of
get
the
it.
worst blizzards we've ever had. I mean, you heard Paul testify. He didn't think they were going to make it home. I mean, they took 3 cars back. They were never going back there. Never.
They took 3 cars, but he would never endanger someone on the road with a broken taillight. Right.
Well, interestingly, they didn't clean off the taillight. So if he was so worried about people being able to see the taillight when he was braking, then why in the world didn't you clean the taillight off? Why didn't Nathan clean that taillight off? Everything he says, and there's another interview of Mr. Reed that will play after this video plays, but his reasoning for why he wouldn't take a car with a broken taillight out is absolutely ridiculous. And then to see their actions and the fact that they avoided the taillight like it had the plague.
I mean, you've seen Nathan pull his hand back.
Yep.
Video, literally.
Like it was hot.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
But then, and also just compare that to Carrie's testimony that we listened to last time, where Carrie says out loud, they don't want people on the road. Like, this is a nightmare. So we're going to consolidate the number of cars and we're going to try to comply with that, because it's a nightmare for first responders and there are plows out and all of these things are happening. And Carrie, even though she had been, suddenly woken up in the middle of the night, is aware of all of that, processing it, making sure they don't have too many cars. But we've got a fleet of Reed vehicles on the road.
And the snow was nowhere near as bad at that point when Carrie and Jen and Karen were driving around as it was when they made their wilderness trek to Dighton with their entourage.
Right. There's no way I would, if it was my own child or my friend, I would get them from the hospital and take them home. There was no way that I would put 3 cars. I would be scared enough with 1 car on the road because that stuff scares the crap out of me. But 3
especially
cars?
if someone just died. I mean, can you guys hear me okay?
Yes, we can hear you now.
You just found a person who you love and they died and they're on the side of the road. And this is one of the biggest blizzards. And to drive an hour home, I mean, I would have crashed at John's house or gotten a hotel. I mean, Karen had to get an Omni hotel, semi-permanent Omni hotel room for the trial, right? The drive.
Because she couldn't drive
a blizzard.
But they can take 3 cars into
Yeah.
a blizzard. Yep. Yep. I believe you guys.
And Bill Reed called for a ride again when the
Yes.
snow was nowhere near as bad as it was at that point. Like he didn't even want to drive hours before. The
Right.
snow is 1,000 times worse, and now he's white knuckling it with Karen probably screaming at him the whole way.
Right.
And
So
imagine, I mean, I've never done this. Maybe this is a thing, but imagine just like snapping your fingers and asking the police to come get you. I've never done that.
Yeah.
I didn't even know that was a thing.
Me
I
neither.
didn't know you could do that.
It's not a thing. That's
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's bizarre to me.
And I personally think that Karen told him she hit something. So he didn't want to drive to the hospital, which he had to do that. And once he heard that she had backed up into something, he was like, we got to go get that car.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm sure, well, I'll save that for another show.
Ready?
Yep.
The defendant and her father came into your home. Did you personally interact with the defendant?
No.
Was there any hugs, condolences?
Nope.
Did you ever confront the defendant with any accusations when she was in your home that morning?
I don't even remember her being in the house. When she went upstairs, that's the last I saw of her.
Did you ever lean over a kitchen island? Do you have a kitchen island in your house?
No.
Did you ever lean over the kitchen island and say, I think he looks like he got hit by a car?
No. I don't remember talking to her that morning.
Did you see when she left?
Nope.
Did you ever see her Lexus in the driveway?
Nope.
And his mother leans over the kitchen island and says to me, I think he looks like he got hit by a car. He looks like he got hit by a car. I'm like, wait a minute. Were you both looking at the same body?
After a couple of minutes, his cell phone rang and he left the room. The way he looked at Karen when he came back in that room, it was like time stopped. Oxygen left the room at that point. And there was some serious looks of guilt thrown at Karen and subsequently at my father and I.
I could read the room and I was not wanted there. And I looked at my dad, I said, I could.
I have to interrupt again. I watched the ID doc, obviously, but for some reason that went over me until Julie sent this to me today. I watched it twice because I wanted to watch it before we all watched it here. So you all get that. This is just going to be quick. Let me go back to the video. You all get Nathan Reed, right? What he's saying there when Paul comes back in from getting a phone call. You know what he's insinuating is, that was the evil Jen McCabe calling, telling them Karen, formulating her plan. I didn't catch that until today when he said, Paul came back in from a phone call and, the looks that he gave everyone. And I just thought that was really interesting. And I just realized that's what they're, setting up in the doc is, obviously that he got a phone call from, the one and only Jen McCabe.
I think what upsets me the most about it is the way, in order to, I don't know the right word, to save Karen, they were willing to turn John's family into the aggressors and to say horrible things, make them look like they were terrible people.
Right. Like you said, the looks they were giving us. And
I mean, can you imagine you go and you view your son, you view your brother, and you get back to the house, and then you've got these 3 knuckleheads who are going to spin this tale that you were mean to them. I mean, these people are the most selfish people I have ever seen.
I want to know how they judge someone else's looks when they live with Karen Reed. We've all seen the face. I mean, how is your scale
Right.
Their scale has to be so tilted. I mean, we're about to see her face. We're about to see it right now. That the one that she fought so hard to keep this clip out. And I mean, we all know why, because we'll see. But I mean, my gosh, the faces she makes. I don't know how they could say anybody was making an ugly or mean face at them after living with her.
Right. Okay.
And then also, you know, in the first section that we watched, it's kind of interesting that, you know, Hank asks Peggy when she's talking about Karen leaving him there. There's a lot of information if we're to go with, you know, this giant conspiracy theory. There's a lot of information Peggy could have said in answer to that question about, you know, did Karen say she saw him go in? Did she say, you know, where did she leave him? What happened? Hank's asking her that. And she's like, nope, she just said she left him. If Peggy was really being controlled by Jen McCabe or whatever, I would think she could have spun a little tale there, and she did not. She said what Karen told her, which is, I left him.
Jen McCabe, who no one spoke to that morning.
Correct.
Jen McCabe didn't even know Paul O'Keefe, didn't have his phone number. Paul's not calling Jen McCabe. Peggy's not calling Jen McCabe. Jen McCabe's not calling over there. She knows these people, what's just going on. She's not calling over there. It's crazy the tale that these people have spun, and just like Julie said, what they did to this poor family. I mean, it's just, and even we can see in the comments, like Julie said about the person, they've just dehumanized them so much that everyone thinks they just have the right to say the most horrible things. It's so sad. It's so sad.
It's disgusting.
And we do have Jen McCabe's call log, and Jen McCabe did not speak to Peggy O'Keefe until after Karen and her family left. So Peggy and Paul at this point have absolutely no idea that Karen Reed has any damage to her vehicle. While the Reeds are there, they have no idea.
No, they're trying to figure it out. And what does she do? She's the last one that saw him, and she doesn't stay to try to help them figure anything out. She bolts.
No.
She is the one person that could have answered so many questions for them, answered questions for those poor children that were there crying, you know, this tragic news they had just received. She had the answers. And let's say she didn't do it. You know what I mean? Like even if she didn't do it, she had the answer. She was the last one to see him. Right. She had so much information she could have given them.
Right.
Had she not needed to bolt because of, you know.
Right. Or even to say, you know, like you said, if she didn't do it, even to say to Paul, what we have to find out what happened.
Right.
What happened. I mean.
Yeah, the lack of curiosity is.
It makes no sense.
She doesn't ask anyone. She never asked anyone anything. She just, other than as easy dead.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Ready?
Go back?
Yes.
I get out of here. They think I did this. Mother thinks I did something to John.
At what point on Saturday the 29th did you have the wherewithal to think, maybe I need an attorney?
As soon as I interacted with John's mother at John's house, when we were driving home, I said to my father, I gotta get an attorney.
Anyone else in the upstairs area home with them at the time that they were upstairs?
No, not that I'm aware of.
Now, as far as Miss Reed was concerned, what, if any, conversation did you have with her while she was at the house for that period of 30 minutes or so?
None, really.
And as far as any other members of her family, without any reference to what it was, what, if any, sort of substantial conversation, what, if any, conversation did you have with either her father, her brother, or the brother's wife?
Again, none, not really. I didn't really have much interaction with any of them all.
I know the truth. I was there. I was in the O'Keefe house that day. I know why we went back. I know what we did when we went there. I know how long we were upstairs. I know it all. And I don't lie. At my age, I answer to another maker.
After Karen left One Meadows on her way to Dighton, she received a call from Aaron O'Keefe, and what Karen told Aaron was shocking.
Did you have further conversation with the defendant this week?
I did.
And do you remember approximately what time that?
I think it was around 1 o'clock.
And if you recall, was that a situation where you called her or she called you? Or?
Called her because I didn't know what was going on, and I kept saying to my husband, has anyone checked on Karen? Is Karen okay? So I called her.
And when you called her, what, if any, conversation did you have with her at that time?
She answered the phone and said that I was on speaker and she was in the car with her dad, and they were driving to Dighton.
And what, if any, questions did you ask her about what had happened, and what, if anything, did she say?
I asked her, I said, what the hell happened last night? And because I couldn't understand first how they were together, if they had been arguing earlier in the day. And she told me that they were out, that she dropped him at a party afterwards, didn't feel like going, so dropped him and went back to Canton.
What, if anything, did she say occurred after dropping John Young?
She said she went back to Canton and I think woke up around 4:30 and couldn't find him, and woke up Kaylee to see if Kaylee had heard from him at all.
What, if anything, did she say happened after that?
She said that she went to go out and look, but the roads were bad, so went back and called Kerry and Jen so that they could drive together.
And by Kerry, you understood that to mean Kerry Roberts?
Kerry Roberts.
By Jen, who, if anyone, did you understand that to mean?
Jen McCabe.
Is that someone that you knew or were familiar with at that time?
I had never met Jen.
And what, if anything, did she say happened after that when she went out with Kerry and Jen?
Is it possible to refresh my memory on that?
Without getting into that, just as far as beyond sort of what happened, what, if anything, else did the defendant say to you as far as?
She told me that she had to remember the bad times, which struck me as an odd comment to say, but I assumed since she was at the hospital that maybe she was medicated, but it just struck me as something odd.
Now, in addition to the having to remember the bad times, what, if anything, else did she say to you at that point during that phone call?
She said, I don't think I'm ever going to see you guys again. And I said, of course you will. We're friends.
When they finally arrive back in Dighton, William Reed sprints out of the driver's seat in 3 feet of snow to examine the taillight for the very first time. So why did Karen Reed attempt to awaken her parents at 1 a.m. over a fight with her boyfriend? Why were they the first people she called that morning before going for help? Why did Mr. Reed want Karen sectioned? Why didn't he ask Kerry Roberts to stay with her until he could get there? Why would he call Dighton police for a ride to the hospital because of inclement weather conditions and then take not 1, not 2, but 3 of the family's vehicles out into that same storm after conditions had worsened? Why did William Reed sanitize his version of what Karen told him in the hospital, leaving out the fact that she told him she remembered hitting something in later interviews? Why did he claim repeatedly to have inspected the vehicle's taillight before he drove it back to Dighton when video clearly shows he had not? Why did Karen and Nathan give interviews saying the O'Keefes, who were in shock, grieving for John, and trying to care for the children, were hostile towards them, or looked at them guiltily when the O'Keefes had no idea Karen's taillight was broken? Why would Karen tell Erin O'Keefe that she had to remember the bad times and that she would never see her again only hours after John died? And why, in the middle of the blizzard, in almost 3 feet of snow after driving through horrible weather conditions, were Karen and her father so eager to examine the taillight and back of her vehicle? Why?
I think you're muted, Carrie.
Great job, Julie.
Yeah, great job.
Yeah.
It's hard to
That
watch.
was really powerful.
Hey,
Lydia,
Lydia, can you do me a favor and just pull up the pictures that we have of the, I just want to show everyone why, Julie asked the question why they were so eager to get Karen's car out of there. Just the picture.
They do 509
at 8:22 in the morning. So that's why they were so eager to get Karen's car out of Dodge, because as you can clearly see, this is from 8:22 a.m. in the morning. Well, Michael Proctor was still in his pajamas and still at home, and Karen's taillight is gone. So there's your answer.
And then,
And
Lydia,
I
do you
think-
have that?
Oh,
Sorry. Do you have that other interview of Mr. Reed outside the courthouse that I sent to you?
Look.
It's like 59 seconds.
Can I say something while you're pulling that up? I was just kind of thinking about this when we were going through that video. When they're talking about the O'Keefes being hostile towards them, so they're implying that the O'Keefes were getting ready or thought that Karen did this, right? So they were hostile to her, but that's it. Like they thought this woman killed their son, but they were just hostile. They didn't confront her. They didn't say, stay here, we're calling the police, like nothing. They just were hostile.
That's a good point.
That's the only reaction.
Right.
Right.
They were just mad. They were mad at her.
They were just
Can
mad.
you imagine if you knew someone killed your sibling or your child, and you'd be like, oh yeah, sure, come on over, and you just don't say anything to them? I would be like,
right.
I mean, you would verbally attack them at least, and some people might physically attack them. Like, you're not just going to give them side eye. I mean, they're I'm sorry, excuse my language, but they are so full of shit. And the fact that they took the public sentiment and attacked the O'Keefes and made that okay is unforgivable. I don't really, please don't talk to me about, well, if it was your child, you would do anything. I would not do that. I don't think anyone on this panel would do that. I think the majority of the people in the chat would not do that. You would not do that.
I mean, look at Mrs. O'Keefe. Look at her, what these people say about her and how they talk about her, and they cheer Turtle Boy when he calls her, see you next Tuesday. I mean, look at that woman and his brother, sister-in-law. I mean, it's like Julie said, it's unforgivable.
I want to address
their lives
something.
will never. Go ahead, Tuesday.
Oh no, keep going. It changes the subject a little bit. If you guys are still on this topic, I wanted to respond to someone's comment about the investigation.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. I'm sorry, when I put up these comments, it hides bottom faces here. Ginny.
There's Bettero.
So I want to make sure that we are, and I'm trying really hard to watch the chat in addressing some of these statements and questions. And I think people are doing a really good job at responding to them. But, as I say, Dennis, shouldn't the police have investigated other possible actors after the medical examiner classified the cause of death as undetermined? So, I think this needs to be addressed a little bit more. We also have another kind of sassy comment here, but we'll read it. Oh my God, I'm so glad I don't live in Massachusetts then, because if that was my loved one, I would be losing my mind over that horrific and embarrassing investigation. So let's talk about this a little bit. And I know this is going to come up over and over and over again. We've already kind of touched on this in another live that we did, but there was a blizzard. There was a blizzard, one of the biggest blizzards of the year. And so a blizzard is going to cause police to go outside their normal protocol, right? So if you find a body on the side of the road and it's sunny outside, you are probably going to take different measures than you would if you found a body on the side of the road and the winds are extremely high, the snow is pouring down, you are in a blizzard. And I think people who want to push this conspiracy really want to ignore this part of the story. The weather played a huge, massive role in this investigation, like finding shards of plastic. It was a blizzard. I don't know why this is such a hard concept for some of the people who really love that conspiracy. Like, and the number of shards, they'll say like 48. Why couldn't they find the 48 or whatever the number was?
We had 29 inches of snow. 29.
Yeah, it's insane. And they couldn't, they tried
Seventh
to put
largest
up.
blizzard.
Okay, thank
Yeah.
you. That's what I thought, yeah.
Yeah, 7th.
Yeah, they tried to put up the police tape and the winds were so high. And then you find people like, why didn't they do that? Why didn't they put up the police tape? They tried. They tried to do it. It was a blizzard. So, you know, I want to just, so this girl who's embarrassed and so glad she doesn't live in Massachusetts because of this investigation, I would ask her, what would you do if you were an officer and it's the middle of the blizzard and the person on the lawn in the snow is not considered deceased because his body temperature is at 80 degrees and needs to be brought to the emergency room. He still has a chance of survival. It's dark outside and there's a few fresh drops of blood in the snow. You have a defendant who has been saying, I hit him. Multiple medics heard this and she's got blood on her. So obviously fresh blood is coming from the CPR efforts, but they have a moment to decide, do we collect these drops of blood on the snow? And if they don't collect them right then and there, that evidence is going to rapidly disappear in the blizzard. They did not have the special type of containers to hold snow water to collect the blood. So they went to go find sterile cups across the street is where they reached out to an officer, right, that lived on that street. And that's what they did. And some would say that was probably really good thinking outside of the box. And actually, the people who did the audit of the Canton Police Department did say that was really good thinking outside the box. So.
And if anybody watched Longmire, if anybody was a fan of Longmire, there was something very similar done in an investigation in the snow on Longmire. And I've noticed that no Karen Reed people are making fun of that. So.
Well, I think you've got people that, you know, they're not investigators, they're not law enforcement. You've got some law enforcement that'll come in, you know, and use their credentials, who are biased, and they'll be like, wow, this is just a terrible investigation. Were mistakes made? Yes. Mistakes are made in every single investigation.
Mm-hmm.
And I think in this situation, and I've said it before, the defense's job is to find these things and to exploit them. And our job and the juror's job is to kind of weigh each side, right? So if the defense finds a mistake in the investigation, they're going to make it look like it was the most terrible, worst thing that could have ever possibly happened, when it just might be a mistake they made. The way our system works, in a way, you can criticize defense attorneys, but it's kind of like a built-in check and balance, right? So then you've got to improve what you're doing. But what happened here is ridiculous, with the public thinking that they're these experts. It's kind of ridiculous to me. And I will tell you this, and this is my only experience. I have a little more experience than some people, unfortunately. But when Noah died, his house was searched, right? So he was shot in his driveway. Of course, they're going to search the house. These are two very different circumstances. They did not have any reason to go into 34 Fairview. But what would happen with Noah was a little bit different. And I remember thinking, oh, this is great. Noah did not know the person that shot him. They had never met. But I remember thinking, this is great. Now the defense can't say the house wasn't searched and there was something in there, whatever. However, what happened was, and when we talk about securing crime scenes, and we talk about victims' families, and we talk about how they're in a very difficult situation, Noah's parents had left and gone to the hospital, and they found out he had passed away. And then they came home. At that point, the police had already secured the scene. So when they went to enter their home, the officer securing the scene was a woman, and she refused to let them enter. They had other children inside the house. And Noah's mother started to argue, like, hey, this is my house. I just lost my son. I want to see my children. And she would not let her in. She was like, nope, my job is to secure the scene. You're not going in there. Well, Noah's mother ended up pushing past her and going in the house. The defense wanted to bring that into the trial to say, hey, look at this family is so violent. And, they pushed a police officer out of the way. So my whole point of this is you're in a very difficult situation when you are a victim's family. You've got to trust the police. You've got to trust the prosecutors. It's hard to criticize, but things do happen where it's not fair for you. It happens all the time. But the other point of that is, even if the police had done that, you guys, the defense would have found something they did wrong. So you picking out these little pieces like that, it actually shows your ignorance to the whole process. So that's all I have to say about that.
And if they were going to use those, I'm sorry, but with the solo cups and the blood in the Sally Port, they brought the evidence in. If they were going to frame Karen, they would have put that on the car.
Right.
I mean, the cups are right there. I mean, yeah.
Yeah. Why didn't they? Why didn't they do that?
And this this is I was about to say something similar. Can we just stop, please, with the solo cups? They didn't even use the blood for anything.
Right.
It had no nothing.
Neither did the leaf blower. It had nothing to do with anything. It's just an Alan Jackson, these words that he can throw around. I mean, that's what everyone doesn't realize. Michael Proctor, the MSP, they had nothing to do with the initial steps, right? That was Canton Police, which, people can say whatever they want to say. I feel like they did the best they could do in the conditions that they had at the time. Mm-hmm. It was absurd. Didn't know what happened to John. Karen was over there telling the EMTs and everyone else that she hit him. They didn't know that until after, right? So they have a guy on the lawn who's dead, and they're trying to think of anything. I think it was pretty brilliant. I think it was a Gallagher who went and got the solo.
I think so.
Yeah.
I think so.
And I mean, imagine if he didn't collect that blood, what everyone would be saying. They'd be saying it was Brian Alberts or, Brian Higgins, whatever. They always forget, too, that they stepped in Brian Albert's house, I think 30 seconds after John O'Keefe's ambulance left. They were in Brian Albert's house when Brian Albert and his wife were coming down the stairs just got woken up. Brian Albert had no marks on him, nothing on him. The house wasn't in any disarray. They were in that house, literally 30 seconds after John pulled away.
Yep.
Proctor and Yuri didn't step onto the scene until I don't remember exactly the time right now, but I know that, they interviewed Jen, Matt, and Brian, is that right? When they went to Jen's house, I think first, right? And interviewed them, got all their information from them, went and got Karen's car, got all their statements, went and saw John's body, saw the taillight. I mean, they put all this together that day. They knew by 7:00 that night what happened to John. I mean, there's no why, 9 people said he didn't come in the house. 9 people, like everyone forgets that. Why would, the person in the chat who said, why wouldn't they look at the other actors? 9 people. You don't ever see in a trial 9 people testifying to anything. I mean, they had 9 witnesses. Thank God. Not that it mattered.
Right. Well, and we can use that analogy too of, let's say a man is found on the side of the road in a parking lot of Target. Okay, we're at Target and there's someone found on the side of the road and there's a person there that says, I hit him, and is all panicked, whose alcohol level was insane. Well, the retrograde was, but she was still drunk, right, that morning. I think it was a 0.08 by that point, but you have that. Then you've got pieces of that person's taillight in the snow, under the snowbank, and this person who was found on the side of the road, his items of clothing are under the snow, and all this stuff. Why would an officer go back and be like, you know what, I need to check aisle 12. I need to go in the store and I need to check aisle 12 and everyone, who was on aisle 12. I mean, and someone, I put the comment up earlier, but I forget who it was, but conspiracy mindset is you will find anything to justify anything. And we need to step out of that box. We need to look logically at what was in front of them. And I truly believe if this case was not so tainted in propaganda, that most people would be looking at this being like, this is such a no-duh case that why are we still talking about it?
Yep.
So true. So true. Do you have that clip of Mr. Reed, Lydia?
Yep. I sure do. Stand by.
He and I were talking about the statement last night about the broken taillight. Yes. Where exactly did you see it? Did you see it at your house or did you see it at Meadows?
I saw it at both places. So when we left the hospital, Karen wanted to see the children. And so my son drove us to Meadows. When I got out of the car, I saw it. And then when I had a cup of coffee and left there, we cleaned off the back and I saw it as right here. And so I know what I saw.
So there was still red left?
Oh, absolutely. I would not have driven that car, all right, in the blizzard conditions that were present that morning, early afternoon, with anything of serious impairment. I just would not have done it. I mean, I was still very active with Bentley University at that time. I could not have ever risked any type of, citation for, reckless or improper driving during those conditions. So I know what I saw.
This man wants you to believe that he wouldn't drive that car because he couldn't get a ticket. And my husband and I were talking about this yesterday. No, you're not getting a ticket for a broken taillight in a blizzard. It's never going to happen. Never, Mr. Reed.
The thing that I find interesting about it is, and this is my opinion, this is just based on, I know a lot of people in academia. Why in the world would Bentley University, why would he have to be so very careful not to get a citation, because that would get him in trouble with Bentley? I have speculated about this you can go read on X what my thoughts are on this, but never have I considered that a university would really, really care whether or not Bill Reed got a ticket for a broken taillight.
He doesn't drive for them. He doesn't drive for
on the
Bentley.
night of his
Like, he's
son-in-law,
not like
or
making
practically.
deliveries.
But there might be an explanation for that. And you can go read about that. But that is a very strange comment to me, that the reason that the most pressing thing on his mind when the man he possibly thought was going to marry his daughter was dead was not getting in trouble with Bentley for a taillight. Think about it. Think hard about it.
On the night that someone died.
I know where you're going. Sorry, go Tuesday. I know where you're going, Lydia.
Where's she going? I didn't.
I won't say it. You go ahead, Tuesday.
I'm gonna go on Twitter and go look.
Yeah, go on her Twitter.
I did start a comment from the same person again real quickly. Just want to respond. Shouldn't the police have investigated other possible... Oh, wait. Oh, that's not the comment I wanted.
We had
wait.
that one.
Oh.
That was the one what was her recent? This one. Oh. You said they went across the street to get the Solo cups. Why didn't they go into Karen's sister's house, whose body he was on to go?
I think she means Jen's sister's house.
Jen.
I think she means 34 Fairview.
They talked to an officer who lived on the street, so that probably would be a better deviated protocol to first see if an officer had something on him that they could use. So that would be my guess.
I think you'd rather get it from a police officer. Imagine if they did get the cups from Brian Albert's house. I can't imagine what you'd do.
No, oh my God.
I mean, honestly, that's like the stupidest question. I'm sorry, but you'd be out of your mind if they went in Brian Albert's house and used something from his house to collect evidence.
But again, no one can say, anybody who has all these wild questions, they can't say how it would have changed anything.
Right. I mean, I just want to go back to Proctor and Yuri for a second, just because I know it drives me crazy how everyone screams about a terrible investigation, and it's all from Alan Jackson and Turtle Boy screaming Solo cups and the leaf blower. That's it. Which, by the way, I know Tuesday mentioned the Canton audit. Who Free Karen Reed was so excited about, coming to do the audit, and until they found out,
until they got it,
the corruption, and they commended,
just like the federal investigation.
Correct. They commended the Canton police.
Darn it!
For use. Damn it! They commended the Canton police for using the Solo cups and
the leaf blower. The leaf blower was brilliant. People, you might not.
So the one thing I just wanted to touch on with Yuri and Trooper Buchanan and Proctor, they didn't know Karen hit John Redray. Nobody did. They knew Karen said she could have hit him. Maybe I hit him. They knew that she said to the EMTs, I hit him. They knew she was parked out front, right? Jen and Matt both told them that in their interviews. She was parked out front. Her car was literally where John's body was found. And they told them that. They found out Karen mentioned her taillight to Jen and Matt, or Jen and Matt overheard, I broke my taillight. Remember, Carrie and Jen were like, it's fine. We're not going to worry about that. And they went and they took Karen, they went to see Karen's car, and guess what? Karen's taillight was missing. So they told the CERT team. The CERT team went and, did their investigation there, which everybody's testimony seems like it was done pretty well, right? But the CERT team, and the CERT team found her taillight. So when people ask why they didn't investigate or look into any other actors in the house, that's why, right? That's why. It was from people's statements. They realized that there was a car accident. They took, obviously, because her taillight was missing. They towed her car. They took it back to the salad court. They investigated it. By 7 p.m. that night, what would all of you put together as? as what happened.
Yep.
I'd be looking for a dog.
Same. Clearly.
I'd be hunting down the neighborhood dogs.
Right. It just it makes me crazy. Like there's no.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's nuts. I mean, it's PR work, and it was, effective with a group of people, and that's fine. But we're gonna do some PR work. How about that? How do you like that?
Well, and the thing is too is in marketing, for those, and maybe we have some people in the chats that are familiar with marketing. I was a copywriter very briefly, and I left the industry because marketing has a very fuzzy line between marketing and manipulating, and the power of persuasion. And one of the things used is repetition. So if you notice, like in the trial, Alan Jackson's like, John was not hit by a car. He was not hit by a car. He was not hit by a car. He was not hit by a car. And we're seeing a video of the car reversing into the dummy at the exact speed and literally shattering the taillight exactly how. And he's just, it's the repetition they have used in the media and with their little people.
Well, then they also had their witnesses use that repetition, right? Like we all remember how many times did La Posada get up there and say this, he wasn't hit by a car, ARCA. That was what they told all of those witnesses to say over. And I mean, I couldn't even count how many times La Posada said that when she testified.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, people don't even realize, like Dr. Welcher, literally, he's an accident reconstructionist. He said under all his testing, all his expertise, that he believes John was hit by the vehicle. But yet we see everyone out there online and Twitter, like, acting as if there was no proof that John was hit. And that's just blatantly false.
He doesn't count Tuesday.
Huh?
He doesn't count.
Well, he doesn't count, exactly, right? I'm like, and we will do an episode on the medical side of stuff. We're not afraid to talk about any of this stuff. And I think that's going to be a really important episode to discuss. But it's just false. And I think it's false to assume or to say that it was not proven. Now, you could say the jury acquitted her. That's fine. The jury acquitted O.J. Simpson as well and Casey Anthony. That doesn't necessarily mean that O.J. and Casey Anthony were not guilty of the crime. It's that the jury decided that they did not find enough to prove in the jury pool or in the jury that they would convict her. And that's another topic we could get into about the whole tainting of the jury propaganda as well. But with that said, it really goes back to my concerns over law tubers online and people who are watching trials with people who are using their law degree to kind of, in their YouTube as a pulpit, to push their own opinions and agenda during testimony. Right. I think it's good to, go on. I like hearing opinions after testimony and clicking stations and just getting different perspectives. But when people are like, I watched both trials, and I'm like, yeah, but where did you watch them?
Yeah.
Because that matters.
Emily Baker. Yeah.
Do you have
I mean,
the
just watch the trial. Why is it so hard to just watch the trial? Turn on
Alarm Crime. Like, why
well,
do you
it's
need
not,
someone
you
telling
guys,
you?
it's just not
Crime?
that
Who's telling you?
entertaining, right? That's what they're
Yeah.
looking for. They're looking for like this.
Yeah.
I mean,
It's so weird to me.
I sent
Yeah.
me too. I sent Julie a clip the other day, or it was probably a couple weeks ago, but it was a clip of, I'm not going to say who the YouTuber was, even though I want to, but I'm not going to. One of the law tubers. And it was a clip of her. It was when Jen McCabe was about to testify, and it was the second trial. And she pauses the whatever she's doing, her screen, and then Jen's face is on the screen, and she's looking in the camera, and she says, ooh, look at that face. Look at that.
Yeah.
Look at that. Look at that face. Ooh, look at her. This is the epitome of evil.
Just villainizing her. Yeah.
This is who all, and I look, and there's, I think, what was it, Julie? Like 10,000 people were watching at the time.
Yep.
I was so sickened by that. I was so
Yeah. Yeah, you can't critically think when
Right.
you're watching something like that. You're
Right.
not, I mean,
No.
it's gonna, even to somebody who's pretty objective, it's going to filter your brain. So just go watch Law and Crime.
Yeah, I don't get
Yeah, and turn the comments off on,
turn
on
them off.
trials.
Always close the chat.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, watch it as if you're a juror. You know, you're smart. Don't let some of these law tubers make you think you need them to understand testimony. You are a smart cookie. You don't need that. It is nice to know legal information, on the outside of that, but they don't get a moral compass with their law degree. So
most of them are not lawyering very much. Most of them are on YouTube for 10 hours a day. And so you also need to think about that. Like, is this person practicing law, or are they just on YouTube 10 hours a day? So
right. And
both of those
they're
things can't be true, because all the attorneys that we know are actually really busy people, and they don't have time for that. So
and they're not, and there's that other law tuber, and I won't name him either. I don't think he streams during trials. I didn't even know who he was until recently, but he makes these videos and he adds AI to some of the surveillance footage, one of which he added blood dripping from Brian Higgins in a surveillance footage. And
that's gross.
It's even if you're doing it for fun or not fun, it's wildly disgusting to do. These are real people. Tragedy is not your playground.
He wasn't doing that for fun, remember? He was narrating Brian Higgins walking down the hallway in the Canton Police Department.
Yep.
And he had Brian Higgins like dripping blood from it. It was so disgusting. And then once again I looked down, and there's 15,000 people watching.
And some ding dong is going to clip that and say that's what really happened.
Right.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Do you have that Facebook comment of Karen's?
Let me see.
So for those of you that don't know, Karen was very active in the Justice Facebook group, Aiden Carney's, where they raised all that money. Nick Rocco, I think, is an admin. There's a few people that are admins. Karen was an admin. And she had control over what was posted there. And she would say, I want certain things posted. I don't want these things posted. You certainly couldn't post any criticism of Karen in that group. But she was in that group. She was swaying opinion. It's the one where I can read it if you don't have it. Yeah. So here is Rich Schiffer. For those of you who don't know who Rich Schiffer is, Rich Schiffer is the man who threw the rubber ducks all over Canton, saying Colin did it, and the "if you know, you know." He even threw them on the O'Keefe's front lawn, so at One Meadows.
He's also the one who said that he wanted to put a bounty on the witnesses' heads.
Oh, I thought that was Peter Murphy. I thought Peter Murphy. Peter Murphy is
Was
the
it
ex
Murphy?
cop. I think it was
Okay,
Murphy with the
sorry.
bounty. But this one, Rich is saying, have you ever sat in a room with even, I can't even, dear Lord, Rich, come on. Have you ever sat in a room with your family and felt you didn't belong? It has to be the most uncomfortable position to be in. And how about add shock to the system? So clearly he's talking about when they went
What does
back
that
to
even mean?
he's talking about like when they went back, her family. This has to be the way Karen felt at John's house the afternoon of the 29th. No mystery here. Paul O'Keefe is a drunk, and he better be aware of the blue lights behind him. And then Karen comes in and says, a narrative was spun for the 5 hours I was in psych hold. Wells were poisoned. Okay, Karen, you're full of shit. That didn't happen. Nobody did that. And as far as Rich, your attacking of Paul is really disgusting. The idea that because someone has a tragedy happen in their lives, that you have any right to go into their personal lives and their personal business becomes everybody's.
So disgusting.
It's horrible. What is wrong with you?
And especially her comment, which couldn't be more of a lie. Whose wells were poisoned? No one talked to the O'Keefes while she was at their house. No one.
No
one.
They had no idea when Karen was there what was even the thought of the investigation.
Right.
And so here you've got this post where you're attacking the family, and you've got Karen sliding in, pushing the propaganda. I mean, it's just unreal. So the next video that we're going to do is going to be about Karen and her family and how they pushed the propaganda. They were very much involved in it. I don't know, maybe we'll call it All in the Family. They were very much a part of getting out that narrative. They were very much a part of the social media push and the connection to the content creators. They were very much a part of raising this money and making comments like the small pizzas and all that stuff. So that's what the next video is. Next Friday we have Carrie Roberts. So we'll get to meet Carrie. We might have it ready for Saturday. I'm not really sure, but if not, it'll be the week of Christmas that we'll be able to come out with that video.
Cool. Should we do any questions, guys, before we leave? Do you have any twos? Lydia, you said you remembered one.
I have one. I think he might have already been banned by now, but
oh yeah.
Kyle asked a question about the vomit on the boxer shorts.
Oh my God.
Oh Lord.
I just wanted to say, I'm just going to walk you through a scenario. I don't know this, but I know a little something about head injuries. So he had a very severe brain injury that most commonly results in people throwing up. So if you ever know anybody who's had a concussion or a TBI, you have to watch them. They'll often get sick. You get very sleepy, that kind of thing. So if you combine that with the information about the grass on John's pants, that they showed that in both trials. It was emphasized more in the second one. If you just think about it logically, he's clipped by the vehicle, he's projected onto the lawn, his body is sliding along the lawn, the phone comes out of his pocket. He has this head injury at some point before he was completely incapacitated by the head injury. He may have attempted to sit up. He may have gotten sick. So you think about, where your lap is and all of that. And then he was buried under feet of snow. So when his body was still warm, that water was soaking into his garments, into his fabric, kind of transferring everything that was on them into his clothes. So it's just think through that process, and it's not illogical at all. And, nothing that they gathered at the hospital was nefarious in that regard. It all completely makes sense if you think about what the prosecution laid out, and honestly, ARCA laid out as the most likely scenario as to how he got that injury. And then, Dr. Isaac Wolf, what he said happens after that. It makes complete sense. It's not a mystery. The persistence of people saying this is mysterious baffles me. I honestly don't get it. I don't.
Well, I think too is FKR kind of propaganda heads like Olivia was pushing this idea that the report said the vomit was like in his pants, like in his boxers only. And if you read the report, that's not how, that's not what it says. And like you were saying, Lydia, I can't believe that we kind of have to talk about how water works in snow. But if you have fluid on you and you're laying in slush and snow, that water is going to the fluid is going to mix along with the water, and it's going to expand, and clothing is going to soak things up.
Right.
And so if he vomited on his, if he had vomit on his jeans, the likelihood that he's going to have fluid on his boxers is very, very high. So there is
just that your pants would get pulled in the direction that you were moving, and they may have been exposed as well. I mean,
that's true. That's a good point.
These are not mysteries. He was moving, at the speed of the vehicle, so 24 or whatever it was miles per hour backwards. That's going to move your pants. It's not hard math, and I don't get why it's a mystery, but that's my answer to the question.
Well, Kyle,
you know what? I'll pull that report up. Sorry. Someone's asking where the report is. I'll see if I can look for it.
Is it true they did repair John's vehicle? Okay, no, that's completely false. There was nothing wrong with John's vehicle. And again, you've got this situation where you're accusing friends of John's and his brother of being complicit in a cover-up to frame Karen Reed. Think about that for a minute before you type a question like that. No, there was nothing on John's vehicle to repair. And it's a really sick thought to think that John's best friends and his brother are going to cover for Jen McCabe and Brian. I mean, think about that.
Julie, I talked about this a little bit on Twitter the other day, but I can't even remember who I was responding to, but it was a comment basically saying, the O'Keefes are complicit with the McCabe's and the Alberts, whatever. And it's ridiculous that these people think, they truly believe that they want justice for John more than John's own mother, own father, own brother, nephew, niece. Like, they have a man they don't even know. They're saying they care more about solving his murder than his family. Think about how insane that is. That is absolutely
not insane.
It's insane.
And they
There's
believe
no
it.
one. If something
They
happened
believe
to
it.
my family member,
it's
yeah.
repulsive.
I mean, if something happened to my family member, there is no one that would want justice more than me. Not my friends, not
well, not to
outsiders I've never
mention
met.
Aiden Turtle Boy would make that statement, right? That he cared more than the family. Well, guess who never wished John a happy birthday? Never tweeted about, now that the case is over, the trial's over. Really weird, right? The person who cares the most about John was not thinking about John.
Mm-hmm.
So do you guys think we'll find Bettero tomorrow? Do you think we'll find him tomorrow? Do you think we'll find anything out about Bettero?
I don't know. Look under all the tables and chairs. That's what I'm going to do.
I know.
None of them can keep their mouths shut. We're 100% going to find out. There'll be more leaked text.
I bet he'll tweet. If he really did, I think he is not going to be able to resist tweeting what happened himself.
You think Bettero will? I don't know. Would that be? Yeah.
I think Bettero.
I don't know.
He would have to put in, like his withdrawal from the case.
Withdraw. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
It looks like it's shaping up to be a very interesting week. It's interesting how this happens around the holidays, but
it is.
We
People
shall
get
see.
crazy.
I hope it's kind of quiet next weekend. I have to make cookies, so it'll be a little.
Need everybody to calm down next weekend.
Yeah, because we don't want to mess up the cookies. So, yeah.
You guys, I just wanted to read one thing to y'all before we sign off tonight, because I was actually reading this today, and Tuesday was just mentioning about earlier, and it made me think about the how everybody loves the conspiracy theory, and we all hope that will change everyone's mind, or at least some people's minds, and I truly hope we will too. But I was reading this, a little bit of a depressing article today, where I have it right here. The Alex Jones case, the Sandy Hook lie and whatever. 10 years later, so 10 years after the Sandy Hook shooting, I just read this article that 24% of Americans still think it's a hoax. So that's
what? 24?
70 million people.
Yeah.
It's unreal.
So there you go, right?
We live in this very bizarre culture right now, this conspiracy culture.
Right.
It is very bizarre, but I do know that in times in history of stress where there's a lot of doubt and war and things like that, tends to be when you see cult mindset kind of growing, because there's a lot of fear and the man in power and there's a lot of this stuff going on. And so, I don't know if that's why we're in such a conspiracy mindset culture right now, but
I don't know. There have always been cults and weirdness. And I think what it says more than anything else is that we need asylums big enough to hold 24% of the population.
Lydia, we need a lot of them in Massachusetts.
We have to dedicate a quarter of the United States to asylums. That's what we have to do.
All right. So before we go, let's take a vote. Who will go around? Start at Lydia. Who thinks Bettero will withdraw and will bail on Aiden? Lydia. Yes,
I do.
Julie.
Yes, I think he's going to withdraw.
T.
I'm gonna say yes, but I just don't know with Bettero.
Okay, I say no. I don't know why. I say no.
Okay.
Oh.
G.
I'm 50-50.
Okay.
I don't know. I really don't know. I don't know how to answer that.
Okay.
Because I think he enjoys being
right.
He's very attention seeking, in my opinion.
Yes.
And it's given him a lot of attention, but it's also giving him some really bad attention right now. So I don't know if he's going to weather the storm or not.
I kind of get the feeling he works a little more than some of these other people, so he might actually care about continuing to be able to work, but I could be wrong about that.
Right.
That's true. Yeah, that's true.
It'll be interesting to see.
Yeah.
Well, Meredith did post a text, so between her and Aiden from last night, so it appears that the call did indeed take place.
I believe
guess
Meredith.
I guess the only thing in question is if her characterization is the truth. I really don't think Meredith is going on. Whatever you think of Meredith, I think that's a hell of a claim to make if it's a lie.
I think he told her that.
Yeah, I do too. I 100% believe her that he told her that. I just don't know if I believe him.
Right.
The information he's relaying to Meredith.
Bettero is upsetero. Oh, that's hilarious. Oh my God. That was Earl.
Oh, you know what I wanted to say too, the comm center. Yeah, we would love to have him on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And thank you for answering so many questions in chat.
Yeah, that would be,
we couldn't get to them all. And I appreciate
you.
And we should say there were so many donations and comments for John's birthday.
Oh my gosh, you guys, so many.
It was phenomenal. And we are going to be, I think Lydia is going to be putting together a little
Yep.
A little montage video of the comments and stuff.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable.
Yeah, it was great. You guys did great.
So now we're just trying to get to 100K before, what is it, Jen?
New Year's Day.
I think
What are we at right now?
I think we're going to be there before the weekend.
You do not.
I
Do you?
hope
I think it's
so.
almost 97. I just checked.
I'm going to check right now. We are at
96,960.
I'm just blown away. I'm just
yeah, it's amazing. It's amazing.
It's awesome.
So y'all, anything that you would, normally, if you want to donate anything, even, anything at all, if you can go to it's on the bottom, defendingthetruth.org, and just put a nice little note in there for the witnesses or for the O'Keefe family. I know they see it. That would be amazing. And if not, if you can just share, that would be amazing as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, they have a little
but don't
statistic on there.
use Rebecca Lavoie's name.
Right.
You will get
Whatever you do.
very upset.
Whoever that is.
Don't say Rebecca Lavoie.
He will get you.
But they have a little stat on the site that says that when you share it, so if you can't donate and you share it, that usually results in 32 to 34 donations, I think. So it really is important.
Wow.
That you
That's
share.
great.
That's a great, free, easy
really
way to help.
That's phenomenal. Yeah.
It's nice to have a voice for all the people who felt like they couldn't speak on X and everywhere else because they were constantly getting attacked.
Yes.
You can see that outpouring of, we've held this in for 2-3 years, and now we finally have a place where we can go. You can see that in the comments on the fundraiser.
Yeah,
and that's worth noting too, is that people will say, oh, both sides are so awful. And, trying to act like there's this equal level of hatred coming from, both sides of the argument. And I will note that there are always going to be extremists in every group or ideology or argument. However, there is a vast difference here of the majority of supporters for the witnesses and for John have felt silenced.
Yes.
They have families to protect. They have jobs to protect. And a lot of people in the public don't know this, that we're hearing from them. But, and now the donations they're able to kind of show their support that way without being harassed and attacked.
Right.
And, and that's, it's a big sign of how silenced people were feeling.
And also, you can't equate the torture, like literal torture of the witnesses and the families in this case, to one of us responding to a mean tweet with a meme. So those two things are not the same.
Right.
The responses on both sides are not equal.
They're a little different.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But Tuesday's right. A lot of people are speaking out now, and it was scary for people. Like she said, people have families, they have jobs, they have whatever. And it was not,
No, you could even see the difference.
People.
Yeah.
You could see the difference, and I haven't looked in a long time, but you could see the difference from lawyers like Bettero and Alan Jackson and David Yannetti were not getting spam reviewed. But if you go to the court, I don't know, Google reviews, or Hank Brennan, it's like, or the witnesses, any expert witnesses that were on the Commonwealth side, they were spammed with hate reviews.
Can you imagine what is wrong in here? Can you imagine ever just going on Alan Jackson's review and giving him a shit review because he defended what is wrong with these people? It's crazy.
It's like a vigilante, parasocial something people have. I don't know.
I can't even, or going on, La Fasada or Arca, or,
Something that doesn't affect you. I mean, if anybody was going to be giving reviews, I'd have given Hank 5 stars and I'd have gone on Alan Jackson's side. I didn't do any of that stuff.
Right.
It's weird.
I did give Hank 5 reviews. I mean, 5 stars.
Yeah.
I was trying to help his reviews. After
Okay,
they tanked them. But
96,960. That's great. Someone just
awesome.
That's amazing. Almost 97.
Mm-hmm. So
Phenomenal.
we're back on the 19th with Carrie Roberts, right? That's our next time back?
Yes.
All right, so that's
I
going to
am
be
so
Friday.
excited. Oh, email us if you have questions, good faith questions. We're not going to, we're going to be diving into this. So if you have a question, please email us at forensicroom@gmail.com. Or you can find us on Twitter. Oh yeah, FOUR. And just so you know, that was intentional. Forensic. We're planning on usually having 4 of us, and now we're like, we kind of need Lydia more. So
yeah,
we love Lydia.
Forensic room. We'll see. So, anyways, thank you guys.
Thanks, guys.
For this awesome night.
Thank you.
Bye, guys.
Good night.
See you guys Friday.
Everybody that I've encountered has been nothing but nice and very genuine in this case. Thing I would like to say is that, I don't condone harassment in any way.
Chris Albert, you are a poor excuse for a select board member. You and your son, Colin, are pussies. And your brother, Brian, has caused so much shit that I hope he gets what's coming to him, as well as you and Colin. You are all a bunch of pussies who think you are above the law, and you will get away with anything, and your day is coming.
Yeah, or with the duck, really? Yeah, okay, get a life.
Thing I would like to say is that, I don't condone harassment in any way. Everybody that I've encountered has been nothing but nice and very genuine in this case.